Picture this. You walk into a crowded room, and while everyone else is fighting for attention, there's one person sitting quietly in the corner, completely unbothered by the social chaos around them. They're not trying to dominate the conversation like the loudest voice in the room, nor are they shrinking into the background like wallflowers. Instead, they possess something far more intriguing, a quiet, unshakable confidence that doesn't need to announce itself to be felt. This is Sigma confidence, and it represents a psychological paradox that both attracts and intimidates in equal measure. Unlike the flashy confidence of those who command rooms through sheer force of personality, Sigma confidence operates on a different frequency entirely. It's the confidence of someone who has found their center and doesn't need external validation to maintain it. Research from the University of British Columbia's Emotion and Self Lab reveals that this type of self-possessed confidence triggers unique psychological responses in observers. We're drawn to what we can't fully understand. And Sigma confidence presents us with a puzzle our brains are compelled to solve. It's confidence without the need for an audience, power without the performance, strength without the show. Silent strength, why they don't need validation. The psychological foundation of Sigma confidence lies in what researchers call internal locus of control, a deep-seated belief that one's outcomes are primarily determined by their own actions rather than external circumstances. This isn't mere self-reliance. It's a fundamental rewiring of how the brain processes self-worth. Studies on validation-seeking behavior show that most people require regular external confirmation to maintain their confidence levels. The Sigma-confident individual has broken free from this psychological dependency. They've developed what clinical psychologists term unconditional self-regard, a stable sense of self-worth that doesn't fluctuate based on others' opinions or reactions. This creates a fascinating psychological dynamic. When someone doesn't need your approval, it paradoxically makes your approval feel more valuable when given. The scarcity principle kicks in. We value what's rare, and genuine indifference to validation is extraordinarily rare in our approval-seeking society. The neuroscience behind this is equally compelling. Brain imaging studies reveal that validation-independent individuals show different patterns of activity in the anterior cingulate cortex, the region associated with emotional regulation and self-monitoring. They've essentially rewired their brains to generate confidence internally, rather than seeking it externally. This silent strength manifests in subtle but powerful ways. The ability to disagree without becoming defensive, the capacity to receive criticism without crumbling, and the rare gift of being genuinely comfortable in their own skin. They don't need to fill silence with words or justify their choices to strangers, because their sense of self isn't negotiable. Fearless independence, the danger of walking alone. The psychology of independence reveals a double-edged sword. Research from the University of Michigan shows that truly independent individuals possess what's called autonomous motivation. They're driven by internal values rather than external rewards or punishments. This creates an almost supernatural level of fearlessness because they've removed the primary source of most people's fears, disapproval. But this fearless independence carries its own psychological risks. When someone operates outside traditional social hierarchies, they become unpredictable variables in other people's mental equations. Humans are tribal creatures, and we're wired to feel uneasy around those who don't seek the safety of the group. The danger isn't just social, it's psychological. Studies on social isolation show that extreme independence can lead to what researchers call emotional numbing. When you don't need others for validation, you might also begin to not need them for connection. The same neural pathways that protect against validation seeking can also inhibit bonding. This creates a fascinating paradox. The very strength that makes Sigma confidence attractive also makes it potentially lonely. They walk alone not because they have to, but because they can. And that distinction makes all the difference in how others perceive them. The fearlessness extends beyond social situations into decision-making. Psychological studies reveal that individuals with high autonomous motivation make decisions based on long-term values rather than short-term social consequences. They'll choose the difficult path if it aligns with their principles, regardless of who approves or disapproves. Unshakable mindset, how it intimidates others. The psychology of intimidation reveals why Sigma confidence can be so unsettling to others. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that people feel most comfortable around others whose behavior they can predict and whose motivations they can understand. Sigma confidence disrupts both of these comfort zones. When someone possesses unshakable confidence, it creates what psychologists call social comparison anxiety in others. If confidence is supposed to come from achievement, status, or approval, then how does someone maintain it with none of these external supports? This cognitive dissonance creates unease. The intimidation factor intensifies because Sigma confidence often appears effortless. Studies on perceived competence show that when someone appears calm and assured in situations where others feel stressed, it triggers an automatic assumption of superior capability. The psychological reasoning goes, if they're not worried, they must know something I don't. This unshakable quality also threatens others' sense of control. In social dynamics, people feel more comfortable when they believe they can influence or predict others' behavior. Sigma confidence suggests immunity to the usual levers of social influence: flattery, pressure, manipulation, or intimidation. This perceived imperviousness can be deeply unsettling. The mindset appears unshakable because it's built on what psychologists call authentic self-concept, a stable, internally derived sense of identity that doesn't require external maintenance. When your confidence comes from within, external challenges can't easily topple it. Hidden risks: arrogance, isolation, or misinterpretation. The shadow side of Sigma confidence presents serious psychological hazards. Research on confidence and social perception reveals a troubling truth. The line between confidence and arrogance is often drawn by observers, not by the confident person themselves. Studies show that confidence becomes perceived as arrogance when it lacks warmth or empathy. Sigma confidence, with its inherent self-reliance, can easily be misinterpreted as superiority or dismissiveness. The same qualities that make someone admirably independent can make them appear cold or uncaring to those seeking connection. The isolation risk is particularly insidious. Psychological research on social needs reveals that even highly independent individuals require some level of meaningful connection. The danger lies in Sigma confidence becoming so complete that it walls off vulnerability entirely. When someone doesn't need others for validation, they might convince themselves they don't need others for anything. Arrogance creeps in through what researchers call positive illusion bias, the tendency to view one's independence and self-reliance as inherently superior to others' need for connection and validation. This can evolve into a subtle but toxic belief that needing others represents weakness. Perhaps most dangerously, Sigma confidence can become a psychological prison. When someone's identity becomes tied to being unshakable and independent, they may lose the ability to be genuinely vulnerable, even when vulnerability would serve them better. The strength becomes rigid, the confidence becomes defensive, and the independence becomes isolating. Magnetism of mystery. Why people are drawn to it anyway. Despite its risks, Sigma confidence possesses an almost magnetic appeal rooted in fundamental aspects of human psychology. Research on attraction reveals that we're naturally drawn to what psychologists call optimal distinctiveness, people who are similar enough to be relatable, but different enough to be intriguing. The magnetism operates on multiple psychological levels. First, there's the scarcity principle. Genuine self-possession is rare in our validation-hungry world, making it inherently valuable. Second, there's the challenge factor. We're naturally drawn to puzzles, and Sigma confidence presents a compelling mystery to solve. Studies on social influence show that we're particularly attracted to people who seem immune to social pressure because it suggests they possess something we lack, true autonomy. In a world where most people's moods and behaviors fluctuate based on external circumstances, encountering someone who remains steady regardless of the situation feels almost supernatural. The mystery deepens because Sigma confidence often involves hidden depths. Research shows that people who don't advertise their accomplishments or seek attention for their qualities often possess more interesting complexity than those who do. The quiet confidence suggests layers waiting to be discovered. Neuroscience research reveals that unpredictability triggers dopamine release in the brain, the same chemical associated with falling in love and addiction. Sigma confidence maintains just enough unpredictability to keep others psychologically engaged, while providing enough consistency to feel safe. The magnetism also stems from what researchers call social proof reversal. When someone doesn't seem to need social approval, it paradoxically makes others want to give it more. We become more interested in impressing someone who appears unimpressed by typical social currencies. Final takeaway: power in balance, confidence versus danger. The psychology of Sigma confidence reveals a fundamental truth about human nature. Our greatest strengths often contain the seeds of our greatest weaknesses. The same independence that creates magnetic confidence can lead to profound isolation. The same self-reliance that appears so attractive can become a barrier to genuine intimacy. Recent research in developmental psychology suggests that the healthiest form of confidence exists in what scientists call secure autonomy, the ability to be genuinely independent while remaining open to connection. This balanced approach maintains the attractive qualities of Sigma confidence while avoiding its psychological pitfalls. The key lies in understanding that true confidence isn't about eliminating all needs. It's about choosing consciously which needs to fulfill and how. The most psychologically healthy individuals possess what researchers term flexible independence. They can stand alone when necessary, but choose connection when it serves them. The danger emerges when Sigma confidence becomes an identity rather than a tool. When someone's sense of self depends on never needing others, they have simply traded one form of dependency for another. True psychological freedom comes from being able to choose independence or interdependence based on the situation, not from being locked into either pattern. Perhaps the most profound insight from psychological research on confidence is this: the people who appear most self-sufficient are often those who've learned to meet their own needs so effectively that they can engage with others from a place of choice rather than desperation. They don't need you, but they might want you, and that distinction makes all the difference. The ultimate power of Sigma confidence lies not in its impenetrability, but in its conscious permeability, its confidence with boundaries, independence with intentionality, and strength with the wisdom to know when vulnerability serves a greater purpose. In a world obsessed with either needing everything from others or needing nothing at all, the truly confident person navigates the space between with conscious intention. This is the psychology of Sigma confidence, not a destination to reach, but a balance to maintain. It's the recognition that in human psychology, as in all things, the most powerful position is often found not at the extremes, but in the conscious, intentional middle ground where strength and flexibility coexist.